season. Who's your favourite for the elite men's race?
Oh, there's only one favourite, and that's Cav.
Really?
Yeah, he's got to be world champion now.
You
Fastest sprinter in the world, the best sprinter of all time. He has to be world champion once in his career, and this has got to be this year.
Oh, it's a course that's definitely suited to him. Even with the 500 metres, it's slight uphill. You don't think he'll have a problem there?
Well, I don't say he won't have a problem, but he's won on hard finishes before. He's won in Cup for Hill this year in the Tour. I think it was stage 4, and that was a hard finish. Gilbert was 2nd, Tour was 5th, and that was a really tough finish that we were surprised he got up and won. So, I mean, you know, Cav survived a few hard finishes and come out on top, so I think he can do this as well.
In the last stage at the Tour of Britain, he just tore it to pieces.
No, but, you know, it was a home race.
Yeah, yeah.
It was London, and he had Renshaw with him, so
you'll be sad to see HTC go then, I presume. But moving to Garmin's going to be another step in a different chapter, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a different chapter. It's going to be different. You know, I'm used to that in my life. I've made a lot of changes in my life, coming from Australia to Europe, changing teams. I think I'm easily to adapt to new situations, although sometimes it's a bit daunting with new people, you know, new circumstances. But back to high road HTC, I think it's, you know, we've all had our grieving moments in the last months, you know, falling apart. I think everyone's been upset the fact that the team won't carry on, we didn't find sponsorship, and that we keep coming out and getting results. You know, 3 stages in the Tour of Britain, Tony Martin that wins the World Time Trial Championship the other day, Judith Arndt that wins the World Time Trial Championship for the women. I mean, we've been a top team and we're taking it right to the end. It's disappointing that it goes this way.
It's amazing how a team is so successful, 400 wins in the years that they've been together.
500.
500. It's amazing to see how a team not get a sponsor. What reason would you put behind that?
Oh, I think there could be a lot of reasons. You know, there's ongoing cases with, you know, with Contador that sort of shy sponsors off a little bit, especially if you're looking for large American companies. The other side is the financial turn down that's affected a lot of big countries. You know, they've got a lot of deficit. Big companies aren't really looking to pump money into cycling when they could be putting into television advertisements or sailing, for instance. So, you know, it's a tough call, and maybe there's a shift in professional cycling at the moment. It's going from pure sponsorship to team ownership with sponsorship. So I don't know how that's going to all turn out with Green Edge, with Leopard, you know, with BMC. You know, there's a lot of changes going on within the professional cycling game at the moment, and maybe we've been, you know, had a bit of bad luck with all those changes.
Hopefully it should be a turnaround. You look at the Tour this year, and it was a completely different race to other years. Like guys who, well, Cadell Evans, a fellow Australian, coming to the surface for over years. He's been there or thereabouts. It's nice to see that across the whole season, different riders come through. What are your views on that?
Oh, I think it is good, but you know, the cycling does change, and there has been a lot of big changes, you know, that have come to pro world in the last years. The blood passport, the program changing, you know, the calendar changing a little bit, and more awareness about points. Some big team ownership coming in, you know, big sponsors like Sky, Leopard coming in. You know, there's been some massive changes, and I think that has a big effect on the riders and the teams, and you know, how the races are ridden.
And obviously you're moving to Garmin. They were one of the first to instigate the blood passport and the doping controls as a part of within the team structure. You're obviously looking forward to working with the riders on all aspects of the team, or will you have a certain role? Are you just director sportif? Or?
I'm going to be sporting manager, which basically means I'm the boss of the other director sportifs there, but I'll still be a director sportif at some races. I won't do as many races as this year at HCC High Road, but that'll give me a little bit of time to oversee the rest and guide. I've got a couple of new DSs coming on board. Charlie Wegelius is one of them,
Right.
fellow Brit, and he'll need a little bit of time to train up, and so he gets to know the job, and he'll need a little bit of support in that. So hopefully I'll be able to guide him in the right direction.
As a rider, he was a quiet but superb domestique. Everybody seemed to want him on. Riders were happy to have him in the mountains, like
Yes.
the big hitters.
Well, I think that's going to be one of his advantages with us. He speaks Italian, he lived there for a long time. His awareness of climbing and stage race riding, and the fact that he was a domestic and never really hit the big time himself, gives him an edge of knowing what you have to do to make the level, and I think that'll be important in his role as director sportif.
Who else are you looking forward to working with and bringing on board for next year?
Well, we've got another director sportif, a new one coming on board, Gert van Bont, who won Wevelgem 10 years ago and was a helper from Peter van Peterham. He'll be coming on board for the flat classics specifically, but obviously he'll be there for the whole season. So we've got some new blood coming in, some new inspiration coming into the team, and it'll be interesting to see where we can take it next year.
And what about riders? What riders will you be bringing on board? Or?
I'm not bringing on any riders as such. The roster was already pretty much set. There's a lot of Australians leaving. We're getting a few new riders coming in, but they haven't been announced just yet. But it's coming all together, and our roster's just about finalised.
Excellent. And who's your favourite for today? Anybody at the elite Esquires?
Michael Hepburn.
Michael Hepburn. Right. We'll see if you're right. Thank you ever so much for your time, Mr. Peiper.